So tell me more about Tinder.
Oh yes. See, gay people, from what I've learned, gay people and straight people have a very different relationship with Tinder. Unlike, I mean, you have a different relationship again, where you use it for your voyeurism, but gay people or straight people use Tinder for hookups, whereas gay people use Tinder for dating.
Serious?
We use Grindr for hookups,
Yeah.
and because Tinder's a little bit more innocent, it's all photos that have come off Facebook, and you know, you can flip through and you can see everybody's interests that you have in common. It's all about finding someone you've got similar interests with. So it's much more, it's much more about finding someone to have common ground with and to meet them and get to know them, rather than let's fuck right now.
What about OkCupid? Have you used that? Because that's more
I wouldn't
psychological.
even know how to use OkCupid. Although I think those kind of sites, that's where like gay people find like the married guys who are like looking for gay action.
The straight.
I think there's
same.
that stuff going on.
Do you think?
I've heard that, but I wouldn't could be bothered.
Do you think it's a true stereotype that gay people are more licentious? Like they more licentious?
I don't know. I think we're all different animals. I think it's easy to stereotype everyone, but I think there are lots of gay people who don't have very much sex at all. I think there are lots of straight people who are real predators. I think there are gay guys who are total sluts. I think there are straight people who have no idea what they're doing and just go out and get so drunk that they can't perform. And I think there are gay guys who are like that too. I think there are lesbians who really know how to use women, and there are lesbians that just want a woman to be the father of their child. I think everyone's got their own needs, and I think it's something that's very difficult to categorize.
Yeah. If someone sends you a naked picture, do you count that as a compliment or as an insult? Because a lot of
If someone sends me a
girls
naked picture of
see it
them,
as an insult. Yeah.
no, I just see it as them trying to get action.
Yeah. Positive.
Like I'm like, oh well, at least we cut to the chase.
Yeah.
You know, at least I don't have to ask
Yeah.
and encourage. At least I don't have to send one first. It's kind of like, oh well, if I'm not interested, flip, ignore. What I hate is when this guy in Sydney a couple of weeks ago, I'm so mean, and I got so frustrated with people that I had on my profile. I'm not, because I look quite friendly on my profile. I'm smiling and stuff in my profile. I hate the headless profiles, and I go out of my way to have my head in my profile. I mean, I have my shirt off too, but but I have my head in it. But this guy who was like 60 kept messaging me, and his profile said block if not interested. And it's like, well, if he sent me 6 messages and I haven't replied, it should be fairly obvious that I'm not interested. I shouldn't need to go out of my way to block him to send him the message that I'm not interested. So I just kept ignoring his messages. And then he eventually is like, and he's like messaging me, and then he goes, if you're not interested, can you block? So I just replied, that's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
And I don't think it is. It's like,
So you don't need a mutual consent to get a message like Tinder?
So you don't mutual consent for what?
For the Grindr, you don't need mutual consent that you like each other, like Tinder. You know,
No.
Anyone can message.
Yeah. Which in a way, I think there's pros and cons in both of that. I think the Tinder thing's good because you are just finding people that you know have some interest in each other. And I think that's clever. And I think that takes some pressure off. But I also think the way Grindr works, you get a few more chances. Someone might not like your face, but God, they might like your penis.
Or they might like you when they meet you, as opposed to your picture.
Well, if they don't like your pictures and they don't like something about you, you're not going to get to that point anyway.
Yeah, just friends.
But you've got a few different shots to get their interest. They might like your witty repartee, or they might like your penis.
What would you improve about Tinder and Grindr, about the actual infrastructure?
I would like to see an app where you have to have your face in pictures. I think I would really like that. I would like an app where you cannot be on the app unless you have your face.
Because a lot of them don't.
Yeah. You know, these headless shots, and it can be really difficult to get someone to show what their face looks like.
Oh, yeah, that's,
you know, and they've sent you half a dozen messages, and I'm like, I still cannot see your face.
Maybe they have a stigma about being
No,
something.
people are like, oh, I'm very private. It's like, yeah, but if you walked up on the street to someone,
Yeah.
you're going to see their face.
Yeah.
It's one of the rules of attraction. the first thing that really, like, yeah, you might like someone's body, but one of the key points of attraction is eye contact with someone.
Yeah, I prefer the face too.
Yeah, I just find it totally creepy.
Yeah. So you said there was a woman.
Well, you want more?
You said there's a woman who messaged you on Grindr.
Yeah,
How
she did a couple of times actually, with different spaces apart, and I was in very different states of mind. At one time I was really depressed, and the other time I was just with my friend and I was being really playful, and I'm good at taking the piss, and I was just like really playing along with her, and you know, really challenging that I didn't believe she was the person. And I did what I do whenever I think somebody's a fake, and I demand that they send me a photograph holding up a sign that says I am me.
Yeah.
And she kept saying she was going to do it, but she never did it. And I actually did get this guy once to send me a picture that said I am me. I also once managed to get this guy, and he did it by his own volition, because I basically accused him of being a fake because he wasn't there when I bloody turned up to meet him. And he sent me like a big picture with a sad face holding a sign that said I'm sorry, because I was so mean to him.
Yeah, but it's annoying he flaked out on you.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a waste of my time.
Yeah. Do you ever date?
My time's precious, sorry.
Yeah. Do you date trans people?
No. But I mean, no, I think trans people are a very particular attraction. You know, it's a separate category.
Yeah. Yeah, what was your reaction when I asked you to do the interview?
When you asked me to do
the interview.
I think we'd spent enough time together to kind of I was comfortable with it. I'm not shy about being generally honest, so you know, I'm not ashamed of my life or my lifestyle. I think most people who know me know how I live my life.
On Tinder, is your profile just open to men?
I don't use Tinder anymore. I have used it from time to time.
Yeah.
I've used it a couple of times, but
did you have any funny stories for that?
No.
So it seems tame.
I don't know if
men.
I've even met somebody off Tinder. I might have met one person off Tinder.
Yeah.
I don't even meet very many people off Grindr. I used to meet guys off Manhunt. I found Manhunt quite effective. The first person I ever met off Manhunt at age, such a disappointing beginning to it all. At like 31, and it's my introduction to using virtual or internet apps. This guy sent me these pictures of himself with washboard abs, and I was living on the northern beaches, and I caught a bus into the city and went to meet this guy, and he was fat, and I'm like,
but on the picture he wasn't.
His photos were at least 10 years old.
Yeah. Someone told me they had the same experience with
Sorry?
a woman in Thailand. This guy had the same experience with a woman.
Really?
She was skinny on the picture, but she was like a ball.
There are lots of these experiences. I went to meet this guy in New York, and his photos are probably 20 years old. And this guy was fat and greasy, wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and he immediately puts his hand out to shake his hand. And I shook his hand. I just went, yeah, I'm going to go now because you don't look anything like your pictures.
Yeah. What did he say to that?
Nothing.
Oh, didn't get
Absolutely
it.
nothing.
Yeah. So what year did you use this app? What year?